Back at the Onondaga County War Memorial, we're getting set now for the final 7 matches. We go to 138 pounds. Brian Burke out of Bethpage High School, Long Island. He's a 17-year-old senior, and Mike Lopresti from Section 5 in Spencerport. He's an 18-year-old senior. Once again, we wrestle 3 2-minute periods. And in the event of a tie, overtime, 3 1-minute periods. We've seen one of those tonight.
Getting into the weight classes where the wrestlers are more defined. Look like 2 very strong wrestlers out there.
Burke is in the green. The blue or the purple belongs to Mike Lopresti.
Again, tying up upper body.
Brian Burke interested as a senior in continuing his college wrestling career at a number of schools: Clarion, Bloomsburg State, Lock Haven, Central Connecticut, New Hampshire. He's been a bronze medalist in the Empire State Games, a New York State freestyle champ, and an outstanding wrestler in 4 other tournaments. He also plays football at Bethpage. Mike Lopresti from Spencerport, Western New York, looking at Delhi, Alfred, and Brockport, all states. Well, not all state schools, but all within New York State.
All with pretty good wrestling programs. Nice 2-leg, 2-point takedown from Mike Lopresti.
Mike also likes to play football, but his high school Spencerport doesn't have a team, so he plays in the Empire State Football League. Lopresti leading 2-0 and driving Burke down to the mat again.
He's got a tight waist working on Burke. Working up for an arm bar.
30. Get a point, Brian. Can't just she's doing, ref. Where's the pinning combination? Hasn't come out once. Where's the pinning combination?
Seems as though Burke's in some type of pain.
20.
Headgear comes off. He goes down to the mat.
Looking for a tilt. Not quite sure if the official gave him 2 or not. Elevator. He's elevating the bottom leg, trying to get exposure to the Burke's back. Back to referee's position.
Mike Lopresti on the left, leading 2-0 into the second period. Lopresti got here to the finals by defeating Marty Nichols and Cody Button. He had a bye in the first round. Brian Burke, a winner over Tim Matthias, as well as Chris Goddard and Bill Mantanis.
Looks like those were the first 2 points scored on Burke in the entire tournament. Lopresti stands up. Roll through, he comes up, should have 1 point. Calling it out of bounds, no change.
Coach was asking for 1 also.
Judgment call. Couldn't tell whether both men's feet were on the out of bounds, the white line behind the wrestlers at this point.
John, are wrestlers susceptible to any kind of cramping during a match?
Sure, it happens quite often, as a matter of fact. Most of the wrestlers at this point of the game are dehydrated, and they're usually leg cramps from especially this position, fighting off the bottom with all the opponent's weight on them.
Typically, what will a wrestler eat on a day of a match, and how soon before it?
Well, high school wrestling is a little different than the collegiate. They don't have the time that the college wrestlers have. College wrestlers have 5 hours before the meet to weigh in. In high school wrestling, they only have an hour or 2. So they eat something light, usually something they like, because it's really not going to do much for them out on the mat. And they won't gouge themselves, just a small meal.
Are they into the carbohydrate scene?
Not at this point. Lopresti trying to switch, coming through, rolling around, getting no points. Burke regains control on top, using a tight waist 2-on-1. He's going to try an elevator to the side. Wrestlers are starting to get more involved in the nutrition aspect of wrestling. But at this point, I'm sure that they just eat what makes them feel good rather than what's good for them.
How about weight training, Nautilus?
Getting more and more prevalent in the sport. Coaches are getting better acquainted with that too. Years ago, they weren't sure what was good for wrestling. If you got too bulky, you couldn't move out there. But you can lift and stretch at the same time, get stronger, and keep your flexibility. Becoming more scientific. There's more to wrestling than just bullying and ramming.
I guess many of the wrestlers we're watching now are also generally better athletes, all-around athletes. They're involved in baseball. Brodzinski was a golfer, lacrosse, of course, football.
And he probably was a great golfer, too. Seems like he had a fluid swing out there, motion. Most wrestlers are multi-sport, very competitive individuals. Burke trying to get an elevator here.
10 seconds to go.
What are you doing? That's 4!
Looked very close to getting back points.
They're not too happy with the officiating. 2-0 is still the lead by Mike Lopresti. Burke's corner doing the yelling.
Burke feels, his coaches feel that Burke should have gotten at least 4 points in the last 2 tilts. By his record, he gets a lot of back points. He has 24 pins out of 29 matches this year.
Well, in this sport, John, getting on the officials, will it help or hurt?
Like any other sport, Dave, it doesn't help, and they seem to remember you. If it's not the next match, the next year, and you don't get the breaks after that.
Does the wrestler appreciate that, or would he rather get some instruction?
Well, I'm sure he'd rather get some instruction. It's nice hip toss out of bounds. He's not going to get any points for it, Dave.
That was Lopresti's coach, you saw. Still a 3-0 lead now for Lopresti over Brian Burke.
Both wrestlers enjoying the upper body tie-up. Burke's got to watch. He's got his head down. He should be propping it up, trying to get an offensive move. Here he is training with a barrel roll. Out of bounds.
1:24 to go in this period. Burke is in the blue or purple singlet, now on the right of the screen.
Cookie shooting in on a single leg, not really setting up his move. Cross ankle counter.
There's a warning there issued.
Both men with an over and underhook, trying to get better position, hopefully hit a hip toss or drop down to a single leg.
Neither man in control at this point with 30 seconds to go.
As he snaps down, goes behind, and snapped his headgear off at the same time. Throwing in the leg. It's going to pull him down, Dave. We might get some back points, no by the official.
Burke trying to...
Burke's going the wrong way. He's just looking for trouble in this position. He's lucky he didn't get 2 back points called against him there.
1986,
That's the end of the third period.
And Mike Lopresti in control. Pitches the shutout. 5-0 win over Brian Burke. His coach really exploded there at the finish.
I don't know who's happier.
And a big victory for Mike Lopresti.